A common axiom is that those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Another axiom is that we sweat in peace so that we don't bleed in war. Here at the Marine Corps Association, we fully understand both. That is why we offer through our professional development page on our website a comprehensive catalog of battle studies, tactical and ethical decision games, and war games to ensure that not only do we learn from the past, but we embrace the thoughts and decisions that influence the outcomes of some of the greatest actions of the Marine Corps. We have tools and techniques that will enhance both unit training as well as enable comprehensive self-study. Check out all that the Marine Corps Association has to offer on our website. Go to mca-marines.org/professional development. That's mca-marines.org/professional development and get your reps and sets in. Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate your continued support and participation. I am Vic. I'm here with Nancy.
Hi, everyone.
And we've got our esteemed Director of Engagement and Outreach here in the studio with us, Marta Sullivan.
Hey, good morning.
I
Thanks
got
for
it right
having
that
me.
time.
You got it right.
First time.
First time.
All right.
No redo required.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'm actually leaving before this really goes pear-shaped. I'm already going to sort of go against what we talked about in the pre-show.
He's a renegade.
I am. I love to tee things up and then just swing and miss right off the tee. It's like I'm 5 years old.
No, you know what? It's Monday. You're swinging for the fences and you're going to hit a home run.
I'm only halfway through my coffee.
That's right.
We're not going to talk modern day Marine, but I do want to mention, because I think it's a good segue into what we're here to talk about, and that is at Modern Day Marine, 2 years running now. This last one just a few months ago was an absolute, just a shining star of Modern Day Marine, and that was the Spouse Summit, some of the workshops you had, all of the engagement with military spouses has now sort of metastasized into what we're here to talk about today, and that is Behind the Camouflage, Marine Corps Association's new initiative to engage with military spouses.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's a great. Yeah, thanks for that, Vic. I would like to talk about Modern Day Marine.
He changed your mind, didn't
he? He changed my mind. No, I think that's a good point, because I do want to talk about Behind the Camouflage. Well, we're here to talk about Behind the Camouflage, but it's good to note that it really did start at Modern Day Marine and a few other places. But yeah, so at Modern Day Marine in 2023, we had a spouse brunch and highlighted military spouse employment challenges and brought in the DoD's program and what they do for spouses. And it was a huge success. I mean, everybody said, hey, we need more of this. This was great. It's awesome to engage spouses. And so we did it again the second year. And this time we expanded the programming, and we made it a luncheon. We had another panel discussion, and then we had subject matter experts come in and talk about housing, medical care, dependent education, financial planning, and then employment as well. And then we coupled that with an employment and resource fair, which I thought was really, really great. So, and again, our attendance grew about 50%. We had about 50% more spouses.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So that's telling us that it's needed, right? I mean, we would never.
Well, I mean, you had Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps' wife. You had the Commandant's wife, right? I mean, so it's not just whatever. I guess what started as a groundswell now has got a lot of sort of top cover too now.
No, yeah, that's right. Our panel was the Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Mahoney, and Mrs. Ruiz. You know, the CMC spouse, the ACMAC spouse, and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps spouse, and so that just tells you that it's important. Then they want to talk about it.
And you said before, it tells us that it's needed, but it also tells us that it's wanted. People want the help. They want to connect with each other. And today's Marine Corps family is a lot different than yesterday's Marine Corps family. And so
and not
you're acknowledging that.
And not to besmirch, the brotherhood, but we've heard this before. I mean, in the 2 decades that I was in uniform, it was given a ton of lip service because just intrinsically it makes sense. If a Marine is deployed, is on patrol, the last thing that a Marine needs to be worrying about is what's happening at home as, he or she is trying not to get blown up by an IED or needs to be paying attention to atmospherics so they're not walking into an ambush. All of the things that we heard, but then there was always this like cloud of, well, if the Marine Corps really wanted you to have a family, they would have issued you one, right? So there wasn't a ton of legs behind the rhetoric. Well, and now it seems like we're
no, that's a great point. And Nancy, so both of you touched on some great points. One, the family is not the same, and it's not. But what hasn't changed is that it's important in the bedrock of service, right? And you're absolutely right, Vic. I mean, you recruit the Marine and you retain the family, and a happy, healthy family means a productive, more lethal, ready Marine. Mm-hmm. So we have that constant, and then we have the change that the family looks a little bit different, or but it's how connection is, how we make connection, how we provide resources, and then another constant is frankly the resources behind it. It's always a resource constrained environment. We'll talk about that a little bit, but what hasn't changed is that we need community and connection. What has changed is how we do that. What hasn't changed is we don't have the money to do it, really. I mean, in the way that we would want to, right?
And the teep is full, right? And so, yeah, it's like, well, I'd love to give you the time to go do this stuff, but when we're going to be in the fields, we're going to be at freaking ITX or whatever for the next 30 days.
Yeah, and you've seen, and we can talk about this too, an evolution of how the Marine Corps is supporting families. I do believe wholeheartedly that we have moved away from, if the Marine Corps wanted you to have a family, we would have issued it to you. We've gone beyond that now, and the Marine Corps has done it right. The Marine Corps has done a really good job acknowledging that. But now what the Marine Corps has an issue with, frankly, is resources, right? I mean, we're not getting any more money to do these types of things. And we saw that with the, we went from key wives, which it was the key wives, and then key spouses.
Yes, right.
Yeah, remember that?
I do.
Which had its whole host, it was great for a lot of things. And then it also had, a couple of issues. And so they tried to professionalize that support system by going to the FRO, the Family Readiness Officer program. Yeah. And that's when I was the benefit, my family benefited from the FRO system, and we loved it because it was professional. It took the key spouses and it kind of lifted the load from us a little bit. We still got to be engaged in part of the community, which I think is essential. But
it codified it because now you had a staff officer.
That's right. You had someone in charge of it.
At the battalion level, there like an office, someone there every day who had an open door with the CO.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you say it's a priority but don't put anybody in charge of it, is it really a priority?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So I thought that was great. And we had we had family readiness officers, and then money became a challenge. And so they moved to deployment readiness coordinators, which I think I love DRCs, deployment readiness coordinators and unit readiness coordinators, which are the green side, because not every unit has a DRC. And so the commander has an option to appoint a URC if a DRC is not present. So a URC is the Uniformed Readiness Coordinator, and then the DRC is the Professional Civilian Deployment Readiness Coordinator, which are generally given to deploying units, obviously, operational units. Mm-hmm. The struggle there is that, yes, a large portion of the Marine Corps is deploying, but a large portion is part of the support establishment, and they need readiness too, right? So there's some.
Well, and no unit just picks up, turns the lights off, and goes. I mean, there's a RBE and guys working up and all that stuff. So yeah, it's never just like, last guy turned the lights out.
Right. If only it were that simple. So long story short, that's where we are now. We have the DRC. The Family Readiness Program includes DRCs and URCs, and it's a good program. And I think there's a lot of value. But again, it's not across every unit. And what it really reminds us is that it reminds us of the need to have a spouse community wherever you are, to get to know the spouse and the families to your right and to your left, because you need a community, and you might not need it right now, but one day,
At some point you will.
one day you're going to need it. And and not just for deployments. I mean, someone's going to have, it's the classic. It's classic because it's true. Someone's going to have a baby, and then there's going to be a complication, and you're going to need support. Someone's going to lose a spouse. Someone may have a death in the family. I mean,
well, even something that seems so mundane, but just like, hey, my guy or gal has been working up and deploying so much, we never get time together. Can we just get someone to watch the kids so we can go on a date night and just like find each other again, sort of thing, right? Like that's a big deal.
Well, yeah, there's that, and then there's just like, this is a wild ride, man. I mean,
Just having someone else to talk to who understands what it is to be a military spouse, because I say it in here all the time. People who are far removed from the military community have no comprehension and no understanding of what it is to be a part of the military community. And they just can't relate to
Well,
you.
it's got to be super intimidating. I mean, having brought, Roxanne into this wonderful chaos, I just can't imagine especially for a young person.
Yeah. So, and
It's
it's
gotta be intimidating as hell.
100%. And sometimes all you need is someone to look at and say, "Oh, you too. I'm not crazy. Like you're going nuts moving for the 10th time too." Or maybe it's not the 10th time you're moving. Maybe it's the first time you're moving, and you're like, "I've never moved before.
How do I do this?
How do I do this?" I mean, I think now I've been a military spouse for 20 years now, and I haven't moved that much, to be honest. Not as much as say a pilot's family or an air, they seem to move all the time. I don't know. Anyways, long story short, I can count my blessings, but we take for granted that we know how to do it. I mean, imagine you're a new spouse, 20 years old, lived in the same place all your life. You met the Marine of your dreams, and now you have to move your house. How do you do it? And you got a dog or you got a cat, or God forbid you have kids now. Which would be a blessing, but holy smokes, that's just hard. Anyways, you don't need a war to need a community.
Right.
And that's the point, right?
Yeah, there's enough.
So what exactly is behind the camouflage?
Yeah.
We
good.
talked about the need for it.
Yeah, we need it.
Now tell us what it is.
Okay. So I make no secrets that I have an agenda. I love
It's not a hidden agenda.
It's a wide open agenda.
Yeah. Nice.
No, I came here, I started working at Marine Corps Association 2 years ago, actually, in August. Seems like just yesterday, for Modern Day Marine. And, we talked about Modern Day Marine and how we started supporting spouses at Modern Day Marine. But going to all of these different events, I kept hearing the wonderful organizations doing things for military spouses. I mean, and truly amazing things, right? You have Blue Star Families. They do great things with the White Oak Collective. You have MOA. You have NMFA. You have all of these wonderful associations working for military families. But there's not an association out there that works specifically for Marine Corps families. And as I was paying attention to all of the wonderful things that we had available to us as military families, I thought, we are a little bit different. We're a little bit unique. Our deployments are a little bit different. Our manpower assignment process is a little bit different. We have a different culture within the Marine Corps. Better. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Am I going to get in trouble for saying that?
No.
Okay. So,
not on this show. You're not
on this show. Okay.
Well,
So,
if it's true.
if it's true, right? It's not mean if
dealing
it's
facts
true.
here. We're dealing facts.
Dealing facts.
I'm not going to say anything.
So that's when I approached General Schrody and I said, I think there's an opportunity here for us as the association of the Professional Association of the Marines to expand and see if this is something the service could need or could use, and if it would be beneficial to spouses. Because, as the Marine Corps Association, we try to do for the Marine Corps what the Marine Corps can't do for itself, right? And typically because of either red tape or resources. And he said, go for it. So here's the deal. It's a initiative to support Marine Corps spouses and their families.
And it's an initiative by the Marine Corps Association.
That's right.
And your efforts are supported by the Marine Corps. They are in favor of what you're doing.
100%. 100%. I had the
I think
opportunity.
it's important to say that.
Yes, 100%. We are getting some fantastic support from the Marine Corps. They love the idea. In fact, just last week, I had the privilege of briefing the executive offsite spouses. So all of the senior leadership in the Marine Corps get together periodically, and then from time to time, they bring in the spouses to have a spouses program, education and information. And I had the privilege of briefing them, and you know, it seemed like everyone was completely positive when I explained the concept and what we could do for them and their units.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because ultimately, Vic, like what you said, right? It's a readiness issue, and that's where the Marine Corps Association comes in. We support today's warfighter. Well, what better way to support? I mean, through professional tools and programs. But this is I would, you know, again, my agenda is coming out here. Is equally important as supporting the family. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I think in the sort of context, the cultural context that we're in right now, where social media is king, we're all sort of connected, and I'm doing big air quotes here. But yet we have this emerging generation that's never felt so isolated and lonely. You know, there's all this data that says that they're like high anxiety levels, and they feel less optimistic about the future than any other generation previous. And so so now we're going to say, well, you may feel, you know, disconnected or whatever, but now here is this very niche, very tight, dare I say, cult-like organization. But we're going to take that main person that you associate with it and then remove them for 6 months, 30 days, however long, and then enjoy.
right. No, yeah, and we're going to put you in a weird place. We're going to move.
Yeah,
you
we're
from
going to move you from.
We're going to move you from. You know, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's just it's a whole recipe for a whole lot of anxiety and just unhappiness, frankly. So if we can do something to combat that, because you know, today's generation, they want to be connected.
Yeah.
They want purpose. They want to serve. They want to volunteer. And so like the Marine Corps is actually, the Marine Corps family and the Marine Corps community is like perfect. But we just have to make the connection. We have to build the community. And that's what Behind the Camouflage is going to seek to do. So we, at the heart of it, we have two goals: create community and create connection. And we feel like if we can do that, then the rest will start to build and take care of itself.
That's amazing.
And so, how are you gonna? What are some of the initiatives behind?
Yeah, so that's perfect question, Vic. It's almost like
it's like I do this.
It's like
for
you
a
do
living.
it for a living.
I know.
You're amazing, Vic.
Yeah.
My God, you know. This is what I need on a Monday morning. We should do all of our. Would you just bring Marta in every Monday?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, so
Yep.
we have 6 lines of effort. You know, so 6 areas we're going to focus on, and the number 1 is the Spouse Summit, and that's the most fun because that's the in-person party get together.
Yeah.
And that's trying to create community because again, sometimes just taking the first step is really tough. And so we're going to have spouse summits around the Marine Corps. So you'll start to see Behind the Camouflage spouse summits. We're going out to Camp Pendleton in a week. Holy cow.
So then not just at Modern Day Marine.
Not just at Modern Day Marine. We're going to do these summits all over the Marine Corps. We had one in Albany, which was fantastic. We're going to do one at Camp Pendleton. We've got one planned for Camp Lejeune. We've got one planned for Hawaii, which
come on.
If you need some help with that,
I'm about to say,
I would really be happy to do that.
if you like talk about needing to support a program, I'm behind.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. You guys are so selfless. Thanks.
We are.
Thanks.
Everyone says it.
And so these summits, the formula is the same, but the variables, there's a couple variables. So we're always going to have some type of some type of gathering, like a dinner or a luncheon or a brunch or some place where we can have food, cocktails if you want, community, right? So the heart of a home, the gather around the kitchen, but no, it's going to be some type of event. And then we're going to have speakers, inspirational speakers, we're going to have informational speakers, whatever that particular community needs, we're going to try and go after it. And I'll give you the example of Albany. I said to Andrew Eventlow, I asked her, she's a friend of mine, and I asked her, I said, hey, what's going on in Albany? Like, what can we do to help foster community in Albany? And she goes, well, people don't like living in Albany. It's a small town, and it, they don't understand what's available to them. So, okay, well, let's wrap our heads around it. So we invited the Chamber of Commerce to come in. We invited the Chamber of Tourism to come in, and we invited local businesses. We invited the Marine Corps Community Services to come in and talk about the great things Albany has to offer. And it went over great. I mean, spouses were leaving there saying, I had no idea, which to me, I was grinning from ear to ear. Because if the spouses in that room leave thinking that Albany's a little better, thinking it's a better place to live in, well, then score, right? And then, and I could see them making connections with one another and saying, hey, we need to do this and this. And they started chatting and using so that was fantastic. So
what a great idea.
Yeah. And it's also, I think it's so good to be linking installations with the heart of the city. In that, so that it becomes almost a symbiotic relationship. That's where the Marines go. This is where the Marines live, and then we do our thing over here.
It has to be a partnership. And everywhere I've been, that's where the installation commander has tried to go, because we have spouses that live on base, or we have families on and off base, right?
Yeah,
we have resources on and off base. So you have to work together with the community. Spouses work on base and off base. We play on base and off base. So 100%. So that was a lot of fun. And we're headed to Camp Pendleton, and we're gonna do something very similar. So we're excited about the spouse summits. The other thing we're gonna try and do is at these summits, and then in other ways, is connect spouses to resources. You hit on it earlier about the Marine Corps, but let me back up. I scroll social media, doing the doom scroll when you're But what kills me when I see posts saying the Marine Corps doesn't care. The Marine Corps doesn't care about me. Like, I'm in a couple of social media groups, and when I see spouses say, well, your chain of command probably doesn't care, or the Marine Corps doesn't care it like crushes my soul a little bit, because I know the Marine Corps cares. I mean, I know they do. I know they do. I've seen senior leaders try and do good for families. So it's not that they don't care. It's oftentimes that we can't connect the resources to the families, or the Marine Corps doesn't fully understand the problem because there's a disconnect in communication, right? Or the families just don't understand what's available. So it's normally just a gap in communication. It's not, it clearly is not because the Marine Corps doesn't care. Of course the Marine Corps cares. It's just, we just need to get the resources and the knowledge and the information into the right hands on both sides, right? So that's one of the things we're going to try and do, is one at the summits, but then also in a great comprehensive website to collect resources and have it one-stop shop. Because one of the things that's difficult about supporting spouses is that there are different entities in the Marine Corps and in the DoD writ large support the different areas of concern, right? Housing falls under installation and logistics. Medical falls under medical officer of the Marine Corps, and really is kind of a Navy, Navy. And now it's, Department of Health, or Defense Health Agency. So that's not even in the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps has influence, but no one in the Marine Corps is in charge of DHA.
And even something like spirituality, same thing. You have to go through a Navy guy. Right.
So the chaplain, right. And so if you, and then
which
you have.
Which is kind of installations too, because they do services on base, so yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's a little murky. Yeah.
or
moving,
Move-
right?
yeah,
You got to go through
moving.
a civilian agency that's also part of the DoD, right? So it'd
well,
be-
PCS really is under installation and logistics. But another good one is to look at is dependent care and dependent education.
right.
That's under Marine and Family Programs, and Manpower and Reserve Affairs. So here you have all of these issues that are important to Marine families, but they're in different areas of responsibility across the staff directorate of the Marine Corps. So that's interesting, right? Marine Corps Community Services is awesome, but they don't do everything. They do a lot, but they don't do everything. So just trying to get all of those resources into one place that's handy, I think would be super helpful. Military One Source is awesome. And they can cover a lot of it. But again, that's military writ large, not just Marine Corps. So trying to find that sweet spot of Marine Corps specific and then comprehensive resource repository. We think that'll be super helpful.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine that it wouldn't be. That's something that is missing and is needed.
Yeah. Another one that we're going to do is we are going to create the Marine Corps Association Spouse and Family Advocacy Council to support families and assist Headquarters Marine Corps with identifying trends. And this was sort of born out of, we started, a group of volunteers started the USMC PCS Advocacy Council a couple years ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, because actually, of the horror stories we were hearing, fellow Marine spouses were hearing through social media channels and things like that, and people saying, well, the Marine Corps doesn't care. And we knew the Marine Corps had to care, that the Marine Corps probably didn't fully understand how terrible it was for the end user. So anyways, long story short, it was actually Lieutenant General Schroede was installation and logistics at the time, and he green-lighted the PCS Advocacy Council, and it was a group of spouses advocating for spouses with a direct link to installation and logistics to get information to spouses and then back up to Headquarters Marine Corps. And then the council was part of the DoD-wide council for moving, and they've actually affected permanent change in regulations that benefit families. So super cool stuff, super cool stuff. So we thought, why couldn't we do it for other areas, right? Why couldn't we do the same kind of model, but do it for healthcare, dependent education, dependent housing, employment, and which one did I miss? The other one.
Yeah, the other thing.
The other one. Yeah. So we're going to, there's 5 of them. I need to write that down. So we're going to have advocates. We're going to have advocates that go out and help educate spouses and then soak up feedback and then communicate that through the Marine Corps Association to Headquarters Marine Corps. And we think it's going to be super beneficial to both, right? Both to Headquarters Marine Corps and then to spouses. And we're not trying to, we are absolutely 100% not trying to duplicate the efforts of all of the wonderful, wonderful organizations out there, both internal to the USMC or external. Like Marine Corps Community Services does a great job in a lot of areas, but we want to help them. I mean, if we could help, they have, I don't know, maybe 82 distinct programs. I don't quote that. That's not fact.
80-ish. We'll call it 80-ish.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
They have a lot.
They have a
Just
lot.
say a lot.
A lot.
Myriad. It's a myriad.
A myriad-ish. But how great would it be for them to get additional feedback as to how their programs are doing?
Yeah.
I mean, if they could tweak a program just even a little bit to make it more effective or to get to spouses, wouldn't that be fantastic? I mean,
well, and then especially too, if you guys are all creating a community within the community where there's sort of a reciprocal relationship, like you said, like you can feed data to one organization to help them refine some of their things. They're pointing people in your direction to, so this is, I think, one of these areas where, because a lot of times when you're in a resource constrained environment, I find that there's a lot of like stovepiping, right? Like, this is mine, you go do your thing, but this part is mine. And that makes it really difficult. I mean, like you said, there's 5 different things. And so in the past, to coordinate all 5 of those things, you had to go to 5 different places and talk to 5 different people. And they all had their own take on what was going on. And so if you
Sometimes it's
get-
contradictory.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it contradicts it. So if you have this area where it's all reciprocal, almost symbiotic, then everybody will win. Everybody will support the spouse and the Marine family in the most beneficial way, right?
Exactly. So that's our advocacy. And the cool thing is we're going to hire fellows or, spouse fellows that will come in as the advocates. So stay tuned because I'll come back on here.
Yes, let's talk that piece.
Yes.
So one of the outreach portions of Behind the Podcast Behind the Camouflage is going to be Behind the Camouflage podcast.
Yes.
Which will be coming out in September.
September.
Yeah.
So this is officially the
This is the kickoff.
this
Oh,
kickoff to the
this is a kickoff.
spinoff.
This is the teaser. This
Yeah,
is the teaser.
we're teasing a spinoff.
Yeah.
But did you ever watch The Flash?
No.
We're going down
Wait,
the
the
rabbit
movie,
hole.
or-
No, the television show, like The Arrow and The Flash, and how sometimes
Yeah,
they'd have a
Justice League stuff.
crossover.
You're
like
speaking my language.
cross
now, yeah.
crossover episode. So this
Yeah,
is like the
total
crossover episode.
Yeah.
Or
like
Private
when-
Practice.
Or like
and,
when Kiss
and
would
Grey's,
come
Grey's
on.
Anatomy.
Grey's
okay.
Anatomy, and now
I got it
yeah.
I was just saying when Kiss came on, or the Harlem Globetrotters would come on Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is exactly like
Yeah.
that.
Are you Scooby Doo and I'm the Harlem Globetrotters, or
That's
vice versa?
exactly
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm more Shaggy.
So yes, we're gonna have a podcast. Here's the thing. This is the tricky part about needing support, right? So if you're going, you don't, and it's like community. You will eventually need support, and you will eventually need community. But until you need it, you don't really think of it. So if if a great convention comes out about employment, but I have a job, I'm not going to go, right? Or if if there's a great resources about dependent care, but I don't have children that are in dependent care,
You're not going to.
I'm not going to pay attention to
Right.
that. But the thing is then I might find myself in a situation where I need dependent care, or I might find myself in a situation where I need a PCS and to OCONUS and I need support, right? So, but I wasn't paying attention before because I didn't need it. And I only have like a 2 gigabyte brain.
Yeah.
So I can't put any extra memory or effort towards something that doesn't impact me right now.
Yeah. No, there's so many alligators coming onto the boat. It's hard to look upriver, right?
Right. And so there's so many, that's a great analogy. So many alligators coming at the boat that if an alligator is just minding its own business on the shore,
You're not going to bother with him.
you're not going to bother with that alligator. Yeah. So the hope is the podcast will address a bunch of different topics like this, and
Yeah, I
you
was
can
thinking,
kind of just pick and choose.
So just from like some personal experience. So like if a spouse has professional certifications, for example, and it changes state by state. So say a spouse is an attorney, practicing attorney, and is barred, obviously in the state that they're practicing, they're not looking at 3 to 5 years down the road when they got a PCS and then having the certifications and practice in that new place. And so I think it would be really great to have a guest come on and talk about, hey, here's what I did. I wasn't going to be there very long, so I didn't get barred, but I did do these other things to participate, continue to use my law degree.
Here's the workaround.
Right, to work, I did. I was never counsel, but I did do stuff administratively. I did help with there's other ways that these people with certifications, specializations doctors, for example, can still do the things without having to necessarily be board certified or barred in order to continue their profession, knowing that they're probably going to have to pack up. Because that's also a consideration for employers, right, of spouses. Yeah. Like, I would love to hire you, but you're going to be gone in 4 years.
Well, that's illegal.
Oh, the thought process, at least, right?
Yeah.
No, they
yeah.
can't.
No,
they can't deny you that.
No, but so I see this on Facebook all the time. Should I disclose that I'm a military spouse, or should I disclose that I'm pregnant, or should I disclose, because military spouses are on this weird timeline, right? We're on this weird, like, it's not normal time. It's like mil-spouse time. Like, your relationships are in cycles. You think 2 years ahead, you get there and no, you can't do anything for 6 months. I just moved, so I'm shut down for 6 months while I get spouse and kids or dog settled. It's on this artificial timeline. And so the questions are, there's unique
what's
questions.
legal and what
what's
isn't?
legal?
Right.
What's not? What should I do? I see it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about other things like, we're going to talk about fun things too. We're going to talk about fitness, and we're going to talk about books, and we're going to talk. So it'll be a mix. It'll be a mix on the podcast, resources, community building, just another way to get information out there and to try and build a little bit of community.
Yeah, this is really
What a great
exciting.
idea.
Yeah, this is going to be so great. I'm really excited.
Yeah, and I'm all ears for topics too. So if you guys, maybe we could do another crossover and talk about movies.
That would be great.
You're speaking my language.
We also have actually, we've already got some really great guests planned. I want to sneak peek. We got Brigadier General Rideout, who's in charge of manpower assignments, is going to come on with his sergeant major, and they're going to demystify the assignment process.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's a great topic.
We're really excited about that. We have Sergeant Major of the base coming on to talk about how to connect and make community on your Marine Corps base. He's phenomenal. He's just this incredible guy. And then we also have Captain Tillman from the clinic coming on to talk about mental health, stigmas, and how to get help and what we can do to support one another. So we have lots of really cool stuff planned. But again, all ears for suggestions if you got them.
I love this whole idea. I grew up in a military family and was a military spouse in a more old school type of setting. My husband's been retired for 20 years now, so things are very different now. And I just love this idea because I cannot tell you how many times something like this would have been helpful for me.
Yeah, it shouldn't be discovery learning every time you have to go do something.
No.
Yeah.
And this is a very different idea than really what my mom experienced as a military spouse, where it was put on your white gloves if you're going to the commissary. So, no, I'm not kidding.
Speaking of which, very controversial. Do you guys want to know what's controversial? Is attire in the commissary. It's very controversial. In fact, there's, because you're not technically supposed to wear PT gear, right? I mean, a lot of installations have banned PT gear. So this is, what is PT gear and does it apply to spouses? It's very controversial. We're going to address it in the podcast.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a hot button topic.
My mom came from the era of spouses where she would have to put on a dress to go to the commissary.
Isn't that, I'm
not kidding.
Think about that. That's so fascinating. That's so fascinating. Hey, and then the other thing that we're going to do, you guys, that's pretty cool is there's two other things. One, we're going to write in the Leatherneck magazine of Marines. We're going to make sure that content right there. So we're not only are we going to get spouses to write stuff, but we're going to write about spouses and the cool things that spouses are doing. Because if a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, is that the saying?
If a tree falls, does it make a sound?
If no one
yes.
Does it make a sound if no one hears it?
That's correct. You guys were there.
You
were right there.
Team effort, community.
Yeah, that's right.
It takes a village.
Yeah. No stovepiping here.
Anyways, long story short, we want to showcase the really cool things that Marine Corps spouses do. I mean, Marine Corps spouses are pretty badass. Can I say that?
You can.
Sure.
And the other thing about Marine Corps
we do
spouses
facts.
now, some Marine Corps spouses are also Marines.
Yeah. Yeah. Super cool.
It's a very different demographic than it used to be.
Yeah. So it's super cool.
I mean, we're sitting next to one.
Exactly.
That's right.
But yeah, former Sergeant Major Marine Corps, now Sergeant Major for the Chairman Joint Chief.
SEAC.
Sergeant Major Black.
SEAC Black. His spouse is a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
And current, actually, Sergeant Major
Ruiz's
Ruiz.
wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. When as we call him Troy on the show, apparently.
Do we? Okay. I don't think
I don't call him Troy.
I
don't call you Troy. If you're listening, SEAC Black, I don't call you Troy.
When he was when he was the first sergeant of my company, we served together. His wife was on deployment, and so I got to see the kids a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yes, we're highlighting the service and the sacrifices of the spouse in the Leatherneck Magazine of Marines will be super cool.
And we are very excited at Leatherneck about that.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to telling great stories about Marines, about the Marine Corps, and about the Marine Corps family.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Good news. There's lots of good news out there. And speaking of good news, one of the last thing we're going to try and do is recognize those individuals that really create the community and connection, right? So we started off by saying our goal was to create community and connection. Well, we're going to award and recognize those who actually do it. You know, and you know this, but I'm going to say it for the group out there in podcast world. The Marine Corps Association gives out 4,400 awards a year.
It's amazing.
Yeah, everything from the honor, the
Honor
Gung Ho Award, and then in the honor grad at boot camp to TBS, OCS, all of Marine Corps University. Our awards are throughout there. Writing awards, monetary awards, statues. We give out the Left Witch. We give out the Gray. I mean, so many awards. How cool is that? Like, we're awards pros.
Yeah.
So why not extend that to spouse heroes too?
For sure.
I love that idea.
Yeah, it's great. So I know a lot of things are still in the works, so we probably don't have like links to stuff just yet. But what's coming down the pike? A page on the website, right?
Yep, we're going to have coming down the pike. In fact, it's about 18, we're planning about 18 months for the timeline. And right now we're in phase 1, and that's the spouse summits and really working on the website and then podcast production. So like you said, the website will be up and running by mid-August, mid to late August. Podcasts will be out September. Our advocacy council will be recruited and trained throughout the fall and go live in January. And then we hope to get some good articles and information into the Leatherneck magazine by the fall and the springtime. And then rocking and rolling up and at 'em.
How about the socials?
Those are going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we link some of those in the show description?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely,
And
100%.
that's Insta and the X, AKA formerly known as Twitter, right? And then
Oh man, we're not on X. I guess we could be
We
on
are.
X. We are on X.
MCA.
MCA's on X.
yeah.
Yeah, MCA's on X, but I
And
don't.
then
So we'll start-
Insta and all that. Insta and what else?
LinkedIn.
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if listeners have ideas for you, where do they send them?
Right now, send them directly to me, Marta, and my email address is m.sullivan@mca-marines.org.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we have an organizational email. I can't say that. We were so close.
We have a place. We have a place
we
for
have
this
a place.
to go.
I have a
Yeah.
place for all that stuff.
We have.
There's a home for you here.
But I don't have that. It's not up and running just yet. So right now, just to me.
Okay.
Very good. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no, this is so great.
And one more question. So, because you have your own podcast platform coming up, are you going to avoid coming back on and being a guest on Scuttlebutt,
Never.
or can we count on you to come back?
I think.
Okay,
I
good.
think it's a must. I
Yeah,
think
if
it's a
nothing
must.
else, you got to talk
You're
about
not
it
leaving
in
us.
Marine.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to get off the hook from at least Modern Day Marine.
No, exactly. No, I think we plan one to do crossovers in the spirit of Arrow and Flash, or
Scooby-Doo.
Grey's Anatomy
Sure.
and Private Practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me and letting me talk about my
I
passion.
can't, I mean, I say with like sincere enthusiasm for this initiative. I'm so excited for what you guys are going to do and what the podcast is going to offer. So
Really looking forward to it.
You say this colloquially often, but I mean, clearly you have a home here. You have an office here, but you have a home here as well.
Thanks, Vic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vic. And thanks, Nancy. I appreciate what you guys do.
Absolutely. Best of luck. Looking forward to it.
The Marine Corps requires leaders of all ranks to have a deep understanding of war and the employment of force. MCDP 1 reminds Marines that the military profession is a thinking profession. Every Marine is expected to be a student of the art and science of war. It goes on to say that every Marine has an individual responsibility to study the profession of arms. Self-directed study in the art and science of war is at least equal in importance to maintaining physical condition and should receive at least equal time. The Marine Corps Association understands the critical importance of ensuring that Marines are as mentally ready for combat as they are physically ready. That is why we offer an entire page dedicated to wargaming on our website. We have recommendations for both tabletop board games as well as computer games. And for Marine Corps Association members, there is a discount code for War Game Design Studios that you can find on the website. War games are a great way to immerse yourself in history and to put yourself in the shoes of the great leaders of history. Go beyond guided instruction and experience the thrill of wargaming. Check us out at mca-marines.org/decision-making-exercises/wargaming-2. That's mca-marines.org/decision-making-exercises/wargaming-2. Take your training to the next level. Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. You have heard the voices or contributions from Major Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Litchman, William Truding, and our guest. Ty Frazier is the editor, sound engineer, and technical producer. The Marine Corps Association is not an agency of the U.S. government. The opinions expressed in this episode are the personal views of the participants and do not reflect the official position of the United States Marine Corps, the Department of Defense, or the Marine Corps Association.